So DICE just officially revealed their brand new Battlefield game that will be coming out at the end of this year, titled Battlefield 1. The game will be taking place in the World War I setting, so all of those rumors that we actually have heard over the past few months ended up actually being true. I do have to admit though, when I first heard most of these rumors, I was very skeptical on the idea of having a game take place during a war that wasn't all that exciting. For those of you who know about its history, it mainly focused on trench warfare and poisonous gases, which doesn't really incorporate how Battlefield plays as a whole. But after watching the trailer and hearing what the devs had to say, I'm actually really excited for this game, and I think it will help create a new spark for players who have just been stuck on all this futuristic warfare recently. But anyways, let's just jump straight into the trailer where I will break down every scene and point out some things you might have missed yourself. And of course, if you just want to watch the trailer by itself without my commentating, I will leave the link to the video in that description below. So the first scene of the trailer shown is quite actually a brutal one, showing a soldier in a gas mask beating an enemy with a spiked club. The devs actually did touch on this topic a bit and said that there will be new melee weapons in the game, such as this club, along with larger, slower weapons like a shovel. This new type of close combat will add a really cool new element to Battlefield and make players think twice about running up to any enemy. You will also notice in the background our first image of a German blimp called a Zeppelin, which we will see a better image of later on in the trailer. Moving on from that decimated war zone, we do get a glimpse at a horse rider traveling across the desert. The devs also confirmed that there will be horse riding within the game, which is a really cool new element, and I'm hoping we will get some new maps focused on this desert theme as well. These always worked well in other Battlefield games, and they gave us something more to look at than just a black field filled with nothing but death. Moving on to our next scene, this is probably my most favorite part of the trailer, and that is the cooperative airplanes. We can see a soldier perched in a mounted gun surveying the battlefield while being piloted by our friend. Now, some of these planes during World War I were actually quite large, so maybe we will also be able to have multiple mounted gunners and really stir up the fight with one sweep of the airplane. As we go along, you will see next a biplane fly by, and then our first look at the shovel melee weapon. Following that, we get our first look at a couple of biplanes duking it out, and then come back to another war scene where a plane actually just crashed into what looked like a lookout tower, or maybe it was where a mounted machine gun was located once. I'm not real sure, but at least we know that there will be some sort of structures other than just fighting across trenches. Then we quickly transition over to another desert scene, and we get our first look at a few tanks with mounted side guns. The devs did talk about how tanks in this game will be varying in sizes from small to large, with some of the larger ones being able to support a whole squad of 5 in a single tank, which would be insane. You will also notice a soldier holding what looks like a rifle of some sort, along with a bipod attached, perhaps an M1 Garand, but I can't be for certain. We see a quick scene of a soldier running at what looks like an old hospital, and then get our first glimpse at the gas being used during this war, and it was mainly considered mustard gas. A soldier is using what looks like an LMG based weapon with a barrel drum attachment, so maybe we can throw one of those or a few of our weapons, and then it quickly goes on to show how the soldier puts on his mask just before walking into the gas. Maybe we'll be able to do this quite simply by just pressing up on the D-pad and then attach the mask, or perhaps you might actually need a special class to do it if you want to be able to survive these. You might also notice that this also does take place during a forest scene, so we will get a bit of greenery as well. Perhaps this scene was actually focused more on during the beginning of the war, or maybe we're getting this from the campaign itself. We get a quick scene of some soldiers being mowed down by a machine gun, and then we get what looks like an overhead view of perhaps a map design that we will get in multiplayer with all the land and air warfare you could ask for. After that, we get a look at what a smaller tank model might look like, and then we also get to see a downward view of the trenches that you might actually be running through in the multiplayer and campaign as well. Next, what I do find interesting in the scene with the train is I'm not exactly sure how this will be incorporated into the game, but it would be interesting to see if we will have any firefights on it, or perhaps you might be able to even shoot out and shoot at the enemies while you're going by. Maybe it won't be a multiplayer at all, but I wouldn't really see the point of showing it off if it wasn't going to be a major component. Then we get a scene of a battleship raining down bombs, and what for the devs talked about today on the reveal, you will actually be able to use this ship as a vehicle within the game to use against the enemies, but being such a large target can make it easy to destroy. It's going to be something similar to the AC-130 from BF4, a large vehicle that you can get into, probably on a timer as well, and it'll be really interesting to see if you can rain across the sea and the land as well to hit maybe boats or even destroy buildings or targets right next to, like, let's say a bomb site. Next, we see a quick glimpse of mortar stations lined up, giving us an idea if perhaps you'll have mounted stations throughout the map that you can use to help break up the trenches and then split the enemies in two. Then a quick image of two pilots appears sitting back to back within a plane. One is piloting while the other shoots at the enemies, and I really cannot wait to be able to jump into one of these and coordinate with a friend and completely just destroy the other team. And our final scene shows what could be the main character of the game, and he's being consumed by the shadow of a German Zeppelin, which could play a part in the campaign or perhaps even used during multiplayer as some sort of weapon. We're not sure yet, but I can't wait to be able to find out. So that is my short, in-depth analysis of the trailer and a few things that the devs discussed today on what you can expect to see from Battlefield 1. I'm actually really excited now for the release of this game on October 21st. Even though we're going back to a time that isn't so exciting, I think DICE will find a way to keep us all entertained even during such a time period. So let me know what you guys think of this game and what you would like to see from it in the near future. Anyways guys, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you all next time.